All right, I was just going to announce that this will be available as a recording, but I've just started now, so just missed the first part. All right, so we're going to look at these words: savadana, avahita, utkana, apramata, samahita, and atendrita. Okay, and they're very interesting. Okay, so let's begin with savadana. Now, in the Brihat Bhagavatam Rita, Parikshit Maharaj, he uses this word to get his mother's attention. Yeah, the Brihat Bhagavatamrita. So Maharaj Parikshit, he's going to speak about what's described as a very confidential topic. Yeah, and that's how Lord Krishna, the suffering of Lord Krishna, so-called suffering, but his feelings of separation from the residents of Vrindavan. So he uses the word savadhana. So he addresses his mother, my dear mother, please now be fully attentive. Yeah. Now we sing this word every day. Can anyone tell us where we sing it? Yes, Mabashama Priya, I can see you.
Guru Puja.
Guru Puja, that's correct. Yeah. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagatai Satma Bando Muri Savadana Mate. So if you look at the translation, it means worship him with great care, yeah, with awe, savadhana. Now, the verb, there's the Sanskrit words generally have a root. I'm not an expert on Sanskrit, but at least the savadhana, the root of savadhana is da, D-H-A, yeah, here at the top, da. So it means to put, da means to put. And other in front, it means down. So it means putting down. So in other words, here it means to put unnecessary things away or to place an essential thing in its place is called avadana. And when you put sa in front, it means to do it with attention. All right. So with this example, we can come up with the following meaning for being attentive, as in savadhana, what it actually means. So here's one meaning of attentiveness for our spiritual practice: to place our wandering minds and devotions where they belong, in Guru and Krishna. Yeah. Again, to place our wandering minds, the mind's always wandering, but let's place our wandering minds and devotions where they belong, in Guru and Krishna. Savadana mate. Yeah, that's savadana. Again, please, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free. Okay, so next time you're singing Guru Puja, you can make note of that word, savadana. This is how I should execute my devotional practice with great care. Yeah, to put my mind where it belongs. Sometimes what I personally do is I try, when I'm doing well, to meditate upon each word of Guru Puja as well, so I can be attentive, yeah, so I can place my mind where it belongs at that time, yeah. So this is something we have to practice, yeah. We have to practice. It's not gonna, if we're not in the habit of being attentive, it's going to take some time to be attentive. It may be, unless this presentation fires you up so much, hopefully, that you're completely, fully determined to be attentive. All right, so now we have another word, avahita. So this is similar to avadana, that it shares the same root, dha, yeah, or to put. So we have a prefix ava, yeah. So it So we may note that this verbal da has many meanings depending on the context. So here's another context that is used. So Sukadeva Goswami, he describes Lord Brahma when he offered prayers to the Lord. So he uses the word avahita. So with a fixed mind, he offered the Lord prayers as written and approved by the Vedic literature. So he fixed his mind. So he made an effort, a Sankalpa, to fix his mind. Yeah. So in other words, Lord Brahma was fixed in mind without deviation. Yeah. So a further insight then of avahita into the meaning of attentiveness is to be fixed in mind and not deviate from its intended purpose. Okay, to be fixed in mind and not deviate from an intended purpose. Okay. How else, how are we going to attain success in spiritual life? Yeah, unless we can fix our mind for its intended purpose. Okay. There's a hand is risen there. Abhaya, excuse me, Abhaya
Yes,
Mungo.
Prabhu.
Excuse my
Abhay.
pronunciation. My
No,
mispronunciation.
that's fine,
Yes,
Prabhu.
please.
Sorry, it was just one quick question about when Lord Brahma was fixing his mind.
Yes.
Was there a particular time that we're referring to? Or
Yes, that would be when he would attain darshan of the Lord after he went into meditation and he did austerities. Then the Lord appeared before him. Yeah. And then
right?
he sang his Brahma Samhita.
Oh,
So
I see.
his mind and began to glorify the Lord. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Prabhu.
that's the context of that. Yeah. Okay. So now, so that's Savadana, Avahita. Again, Savadana here to place our wandering minds and devotions where they belong, in Guru and Krishna. Then here, to be fixed in mind, not deviate from an intended purpose. Okay? If I'm going too fast, then please let me know. Okay, next one is Utkana. This is very nice. This comes up in a play written by Rupa Goswami in the Lalita Madhava and the Vidagdha Madhava. Rupa Goswami uses this word, Utkana. Yeah, and I'll just read this here. Again, he listens with rapt attention, perking up his ears. Okay, just take notice that, perking up his ears. Then his bodily hairs standing in ecstasy, he says, moving through the air in waves of sweetness, the tinkling sound of Radha's ankle bells silences the cooing of the sarasha birds and fills my heart with a host of ecstasies. So the word utkana, it means, ut means up. Everyone knows, and then kana, anyone can tell us what kana means? Kana?
Ear.
Ear, yeah. Those who know Hindi, Bengali, ear. Yeah, so it means to, not physically, I'm just doing it to exaggerate the emotion. You hear, yeah, you perk up your ears. Anyone ever done that? You've been in a certain situation and you've got to really listen carefully. You've got to perk up your ears. Generally, when devotees meet their spiritual master and the spiritual master gives class, we whoop. But when someone else is giving class, we whoop. It's interesting because it's something that we can practically find ourselves that we do, isn't it? So, for instance, if you hear someone speaking about you, whoop, you may be very attentive, yeah, or someone that you know, yeah. So, in other words, utkani here means it's described with lending an ear to something that is taking place or being spoken. Yeah. I'm sure we've all had the experience, perhaps on an often occasion, where you're you're in a class or you're in a seminar and you're not paying attention. And then you pick up your ears. No, then you physically decide to listen. And it's almost your ears, you're picking your utkana, just like Krishna here. He's utkana, he's listening to that sound of Radha's ankle bells. His ears have gone up. And he's listening to it. Yeah. So this is another definition of being attentive. Like those of you who attend Mangalarti, or you might do it at home as well, I often have this experience, someone singing Samsara Dava Nadadita Loka. Then the next thing I hear is Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita. I think, oh, they missed some verses. But no, they haven't missed the verses. I just haven't been attentive. Yeah. My mind's been full of something else. Yeah. I've been thinking of something else. So sure we all have this example, this experience. Yeah. So that utkana, so to lift one's ears, to make the effort. Yeah. Utkana, to lend an ear. Okay. Then we have another word. Again, this is giving a broader definition of attentiveness, using different Sanskrit synonyms for attentiveness. This one is apramata. So basically, it means not intoxicated or mad. Okay. Okay. So in other words, it means that being attentive is a state of spiritual sobriety. Yeah, everyone knows what sobriety means. It means you're not mad or not drunk, okay? Not intoxicated, apramata. So in other words, if one is not fixed in devotional service, even if one is a yogi or a jnani, he is captured and distracted by the Lord's illusory potency. And this, I'm sure devotees know, this is Subari Muni. Devotee yesterday was giving class and he mentioned the story of Subari Muni, who was distracted from his yogic practice, yeah, apramata, and became intoxicated with the thoughts of sense gratification. Okay, so it's another word, apramata. Okay. Now we're going to collect all these meanings together, and we're going to, we'll collect these meanings together to give a little sutra. Now, samahita is another one. So this means, like it says here, to collect thoughts, to concentrate the mind in meditation. So that means basically means bringing together an assembly of things, just like we have the Brahma Samhita. Yeah. Brahma brings together some wonderful prayers for the Lord. Yeah. So it means to bring things together. So attentiveness also means to bring together one's faculties in one place. Yeah? And that one place for us is our sadhana. Okay? Now we can also add the word like susamahita. So this amplifies the intensity as well of that practice. Yeah, bringing one's faculties in a one place. Samahita, or more emphatically, susamahita, to collect thoughts, to concentrate in meditation. Yeah. So, and we have one more. We have one more. We're just expanding on the word attentiveness using the Sanskrit language. Okay, so here's another one. Attendrita. Yeah. This is interesting. This means attentiveness, it means it's actually the foundation of being attentive, of attentiveness. So basically it means to be free from lassitude. Lassitude is an old word. Anyone knows what lassitude means? It's an old word meant for being mental weariness or physical weariness or tired. Yeah. So you can understand how it's a underlying foundation of being attentive. You have to be well rested. Yeah. So in other words, yeah, in the dictionary, meaning a state of physical or mental weariness, so lack of energy. She was overcome, for example, she was overcome by lassitude and retired to bed. Okay, so, and here, someone who exemplified not being affected by lassitude or weariness is Maharaj Parikshit. Okay, he says here, because of my vow on the verge of death, I have given up even drinking water. Yet because I am drinking the nectar of topics about Krishna, which is flowing from the lotus mouth of your lordship, my hunger and thirst, which are extremely difficult to bear, cannot hinder me. Okay. So this is just meant to give us a bit of these meanings or synonyms of the Sanskrit word attentive, just to give us a little bit of a deeper understanding of what being attentive is from our perspective of practicing sadhana bhakti. Yeah. Now, if we summarize these, it may look something like this. Okay. Okay, I'll just read from here. By investing all his faculties in the process of sadhana, okay, all the faculties in the process of sadhana, without lassitude, a practitioner regains his spiritual sanity. Then, by the strength generated from Nam Sankirtan and Srimad Bhagavatam, he systematically plumbs the depths of Smaran. Smaran means meditation. There's different levels of Smaran. That's another subject. But for now, to meditate upon the Lord, he systematically plumbs the depths of Smaran to reach the state of Krishna consciousness, where, among other things, he is free from all bodily demands, such as weariness. This is the way of attentive sadhana. Okay, some of you can take photos of that if you want. I saw Mother Shama Priya taking a photo. Those of you who are following, it's in basically this presentation. If it wasn't there in the beginning, it's based on chapter 25 of a book called the Sankalpa Kaumudi by His Holliness Sivarama Swami. So you can refer to that book there, and you'll find everything which I'm presenting here to one degree or another is there. Okay, so let's read it again. By investing all his faculties in the process of sadhana. Yeah, means you got to turn off from the news of the world. All faculties in the process of sadhana without lassitude, a practitioner. That's how we're going to regain our spiritual sanity. And where we get strength, we get spiritual strength, will actually come from our chanting. And then from that, we will obtain different levels of absorption in Krishna, especially while chanting Krishna's name. Yeah, we will plumb, it's hinted here, we'll go deeper in our Krishna consciousness. Yeah, and at that stage, one is free from lassitude affected by the body. Yeah, that's the way of effective sadhana bhakti. Yeah, attentive, yeah, effective sadhana bhakti. Yeah, I will do that. Someone's asking if I can share the name of the book at the end of the session. I will do that. Please remind me. If I don't, I will certainly do that. Hare Krishna. Perhaps someone who knows the book, they can put it in the while I'm speaking. They can, yeah. There you go. Mother Julian Leah's just wrote. It's called the Sankalpa Kaumudi. Okay, so there you go. Thank you. Lassitude, yeah. Lassitude just means tired. Okay, simply put. Perhaps I should have put that word instead of lassitude. Yeah, it just means weary, tired. Now, if someone has a taste for the holy name, then they can easily overcome tiredness. Yeah. If you have a taste for chanting, then even if you're tired, you will forget you're tired until you stop chanting. But just like Maharaj Parikshit, yeah, he was fasting a note for fasting, but he was free of lassitude. Yeah. So it just means tired, okay? So Harini, she's asking, Madhumango's not host anymore. Okay. I'll fix you up in a minute, Madhumango again. So Harini's asking, what if it's only the mind? What if it's only the mind is tired and not the body? Sometimes the body can become tired because of the mind. Yeah. So what if it's only the mind is tired and not the body? Well, generally, that's generally caused by lack of sleep. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it describes that sleep is needed for the mind. Yeah. We need to rest the mind. Yeah. So generally, the mind is part of the body. So it's generally going to indication if the mind is tired, then it means you need to rest. Yeah. You're saying sometimes not the body. But generally, a tired mind means just like we will have the experience, at least I have the experience. If I'm tired, it's difficult for me to concentrate. So because I can't concentrate, then I know that I'm tired and I need to rest. Yeah, there's as much I can say on that for now. But sometimes the body can become tired because of the mind. Yes, for sure. Crazy mind can make us very tired. All right. Much as I can say on that for now. Okay. Any more questions, you can please use the chat. Is that okay, Mother Harini? As much as I can say in that for now. If we've got a tired mind, it means we need to rest. It means we're overdoing it with the mind, so we need to rest. Okay, no. Okay, so now then, sorry, just moving some things on my screen. Now, looking at this, studying the synonyms for attentiveness in Sanskrit, there's one word which gives an overall, which is the overall gist of what we are explaining, and that's called ekagra. Ekagra, yeah, which means one-pointedness. Yeah, means one-pointedness or one-pointed attention. Yeah. Now there's from the Brahma Sutra. This is from the Brahma Sutra. This aphorism here. Wherever the yogi can find single-pointed attention or single-pointed concentration, at that place he may practice meditation. This is because scripture makes no other requirement on which the yogi must be practicing in. So we'll elaborate on this on a bit more. We will elaborate on this. So this word, ekagra, this Krishna uses this word often as the main qualification for a yogi. So we're yogis, okay? We're bhakti yogis, right? So the main qualification in order to achieve bhakti and to be successful in bhakti, the main qualification is attentiveness, okay? And we know Krishna at the end of Bhagavad Gita, what does he ask Arjuna? Have you heard this with an ekagrena, an attentive mind? Have you been attentive? Yeah. Yeah, so Shama Priya's mentioned, like the gopis, one-pointed attention on pleasing Krishna. Yeah, good example. Absolutely focused on one thing. There was nothing else in their body, in their subtle body, except on pleasing Krishna. Yeah, they are the highest examples of being attentive. Yes. Okay, so again, ekagra, have you heard this with an attentive mind? Krishna asked Arjuna. So, so this is the overriding factor for being successful in spiritual life. There is other factors associating with devotees chanting your holy name, but those will not be effective unless we're attentive. Remember, we mentioned about being attentive in a relationship, so that means being attentive in our relationship with devotees, being attentive with the holy name, being attentive in class, being attentive while hearing from the spiritual master. Yeah, so this is an overriding factor of sadhana, and it's described in the sutras, in the Brahma Sutras. The most important quality for a yogi is to be attentive. That's why they do pranayam, do pranayam. They do hatha yoga to get the healthy body. Then on the pranayam, it's all to focus the mind. Yeah. So we have the same call is upon us to focus the mind, specifically on Krishna. And again, as I mentioned in the beginning, we have challenges. It's not just us who have challenges, but spiritual practitioners from different faiths have challenges because of the modern presentation, or because of what the social media, etc., YouTube, we went through in the beginning. So we need to address it. Yeah. So we need to address this because it's the most important factor in our spiritual practice. So the sutra actually means here, more on it, in whatever direction, place, or time, the mind finds single-pointed concentration. In that place, in that direction, place, or time, one should worship Lord Hari. Okay, so wherever you can be attentive, whatever direction, place, or time helps you to be attentive, that's where you should worship the Lord. Now, we're a bit further on, we described, it said we should go to Vrindavan to worship the Lord. But here, for now, we're emphasizing, actually, the most important point is wherever you're going to be attentive. Yeah. So basically, worship has no restriction, but the only thing that's asked is to be attentive. And then you'll be successful in your spiritual life. It's like we have this here. The picture's kind of, a bit of a joke, this picture. This lady's in the middle of a crowded street and she's found a nice place to meditate. Of course, it's a photo that's been made up. But here, just emphasizing the point. Again, I read from here. One should seek a place, time, situation, and sensory environment where the mind becomes peaceful and cheerful. Other than that, there is no specific instruction regulating these factors. Place, time, situation, sensory, and environment may be chosen to facilitate a peaceful and cheerful mind, where we can pay attention. Yeah, that's why, we have a japa in the temple. We have a nice temple room and everyone's chanting japa. I'm sure everyone listening in, you're at home, you got your nice place where you chant japa, isn't it? You got your chair you like to sit, by the window. You're going to choose a place by which you can concentrate, because it's so important for you to be attentive. Then you're going to find that place that is going to help you to the time in a day, also the place, etc. Yeah. Now, for example, I was recently in Mayapur and I was chanting. I was in the temple room during japa with another, during the japa in Mayapur. In the temple room, you're chanting with at least 2,000 devotees. It's quite hectic. I remember in my earlier when I go to Mayapur, many years ago, I'll be very happy chanting with 2,000 devotees. It'd be ecstatic. But now I find it difficult. So now I have to go. Now I go to where I stay, where I stay in Mayapur, and I chant kind of just on my own there, because I find that's the place where I'm going to be attentive. For me, personally, I'm going to be more attentive in my japa than I will be in a temple room with 2,000 devotees, because the 2,000 devotees don't always sit in one place. It's a massive movement going around, and there's all the locals coming. You know, you get to see those who've been to Mayapur. It's hundreds of people, locals come, etc. So for me, I've had to make that adjustment so I can be more attentive in my japa. But here in London, here when I'm at base, I find my best place for japa is in the temple room with the devotees than on my own. Yeah, so I deliberately make a specific effort that I'm going to chant my japa with the Vaishnavas in the temple room, because I know I'm going to be more attentive. But when I'm in Mayapur, it doesn't work. So you understand, you have to find your place, because being attentive is so important. You have to find your place and situation where you can be attentive. Okay. And again, any questions or comments on that, please feel free. I'm sure you have your different experiences. Here, just going on this point here. So, yeah, the same thing here. Now, it's commonly thought that one must meditate in a holy place. For a holy place brings, I'm sure we are familiar with it, one should live in a holy dham. But more important than living in a holy dham is being attentive. You know, if you're in a holy dham and you're not attentive, then like another experience, my visit to India, I went to Radhakund. I thought, yeah, I mean, we're going to chant japa. Wow, what a better place than Radhakund. Wow, great, yeah. So I went to Radhakund, and I found a nice place looking over Radhakund, and I sat down, and boy, it was so noisy. You know, Radhakund, you got all the priests there trying to get people to say mantras. You know, it's India being India is very noisy, and Radhakund, there's hundreds of people. And I was distracted. I was at the bank of Radhakund and I couldn't concentrate because the place for me, it was too busy. You know, so anyway, I had to leave where I was, and I found a nice place, a quiet place by the Samadhi of Raghunath Das Thakur, of Raghunath Das. It was a bit out of the way, and I chanted there. Again, because, okay, I'm sitting on the banks of Radhakund, but I can't concentrate because there's too much, these situations. So just making this point, yeah. So I just read something here. This is straight from the Sankalpa Kaumudi. Maharaj says, the gist of the great Acharya's argument is that holy places, Brahma Muhurta, one second, the body of water and where people do not congregate are all helpful in the practice of Krishna consciousness. But more important than this is the place where one can be attentive. If attentiveness is more easily attained in the absence of this criteria, as I mentioned, or if a sadhak has no access to them, then the most important thing is one-pointed attention of the mind. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah.
I was quickly going to tell you where one can go for quiet chanting at Radhakund.
Yeah, please give us some tips.
Okay, you know where the middle is, Radhakund, Shyamkund, the middle.
Yeah, the Sangha.
Yeah, Sangha. So halfway there is some where lots of people change their clothes. If you go up those stairs, follow a little alley, you'll come to the three samadhis in one.
Yeah, that's
there. Then if you go further down, there's Krishnadas Kaviraj Maharaj, Goswami, where he wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go down a few steps, Raghunath Das Goswami, go down a few, out of that is Shyamkund. And there on the stairs, if you sit there, it's quiet. You can see everybody else running around everywhere else.
Yeah.
But it's peaceful there.
Yeah.
Where the 5 palm trees are.
Yeah. I was there in Raghunath Das Goswami where the three samadhis, and yeah, there was hundreds of people around Radhakund, and there was no one at Shamakund, literally.
That's it. That's
Uh,
it.
I don't know what that means spiritually. But yeah, so just again, we're just emphasizing the main or the importance of being attentive. Yeah. It takes precedence even on the place, even if it's a holy place. If we're not attentive, then what's the point? Find a place. If you can find a place in the holy place where you can be attentive, then that's good. Yeah. So just to emphasize the need to be attentive in our japa or in our spiritual practice. Okay. Now, time check, 7:10. Okay, we're doing okay. We're still going through part 1. Now, so I'm just moving some things around again. Yeah, here it's addressing this point here. One should live in Vrindavan. If one is physically able to go to Vrindavan, he should mentally live there. Okay. Yeah, so here, the point here is that the dominant or the most important thing is to be attentive, okay? Now, there may be a supporting variant given by scripture is to live in Raj. That should, if that supports our being attentive, either directly we can live in Raj or indirectly, right? So the prominent thing for sadhakas is to be attentive. Now, the supporting variant is living in Vrindavan, yeah, which is mentioned in the scriptures, yeah. Now, another subject, kind of different direction. Now, after Nrsingadev, he killed Hiranyakasipu. Prahlad Maharaj approached Lord Nrsingadev. As we know the story, he was very, very angry. He was chosen to pacify him. We know the story. The demigods were unable to pacify Lord Nrsingadev. Then Lord Nrsingadev, being very pleased with Prahlad, he touched the body of Prahlad. Sometimes you see a picture where he's put his hand on Prahlad's head. It's very, very nice. And in that perfected state, he obtained perfection. He was already at a state of perfection, but he became completely purified at that stage. And he began to offer prayers, wonderful prayers, which is there in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But he prepared himself. And how did he prepare himself? Here. Prahlad Maharaj fixed his mind and sight upon Lord Nrsingadev with full attention, in complete trance. With a fixed mind, he began to offer prayers in love with a faltering voice. So he did only one thing, okay? He steadied his mind and fixed them and senses and fixed on the Lord. Yeah. So we can see from Prahlad Maharaj that his conduct or his example, we see how attentiveness is a primary factor for being successful in our spiritual life. Yeah. And with the, again, in context with being determined to reach the different levels of devotional attainment, attentiveness is absolutely needed. Then we will fathom, then we can move from one step to the other if we're attentive. But again, back to earlier slide, if we're not attentive, you could be chanting for kalpas and not make advancement. Okay? So, yeah. Now, Krishna also gives out instructions on this subject. This is from the 11th canto. This is teachings to Uddhava. So here he prefaces his descriptions of the Hamsa avatar, and this verse here. A person should be attentive and grave and never lazy or morose, mastering the yoga procedures, breathing and sitting properly. One should practice fixing the mind on me at dawn, noon, and sunset. And thus gradually the mind should be completely absorbed in me. Okay. So questions come up here. How can you be attentive when you have that word I mentioned earlier, ADHD, and poor mental health? Yeah. We will, for now, we will mention this in part 2, but for now, we need to, there's many things we can do. One of the things we do is we can seek the association of, I just mentioned one point for now, seek the association of those who are attentive. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions this in a book which we will be quoting in second part, called the Harinam Chintamani. So no doubt our minds are distracted. I'm sure all of us, to one degree or another, have problems with attention deficit disorder. That's called Kali Yuga. Yeah. I mean, this is why everyone's attended this seminar, because we all recognize we've got attention deficit disorder. So first of all, yeah, we're presenting the importance of being attentive, but practically some things we can do to practice being attentive. One of the things is that we should chant with and associate those who are absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. And that will have a great effect on us. That will be greatly inspiring. Yeah. Myself, many years ago, there was a great devotee, Purnachandra. He took sannyas, Purnachandra Maharaj, and he was a preacher here in London. And he was like, when like he would chant japa, it would be like he'd just go to the spiritual world. He'd be so absorbed. You could just sense he was so deeply absorbed in the chanting. And I used to sit there and I used to deliberately go to chant near him. And just by sitting near him, I felt inspired. Oh, I would really like to chant like that. I would really like to get absorbed like that. It was greatly inspiring. So yes, it's difficult. Yes, we may be attention deficit hyperactive disorder. It's not so uncommon. But if we can take to the activities of devotional service and try to gradually, especially if we chant japa every day, just keep on trying to be attentive. And then Krishna will ultimately step in and help. Yeah, so that's as much as I can say on that for now. But hopefully this presentation is going to help you to be attentive. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, so Krishna's definition summary of yoga is simple. As we know, man mana mavat bhakto. Yeah, we've heard this verse many times. Absorb the mind in me. Yeah. So Krishna explains he's the highest authority. Again, he's saying the step-by-step process to transcendence has for effectiveness as its essence. Yeah, as attentiveness as its essence. Yeah. So this is the most important thing. Okay. Any other questions? Please feel free to ask now. Now this is part 2.
Hare Krishna.
Let's see how far we get. Sorry, Prabhu, you had something there?
Prabhu, a question.
Please, yes.
We were discussing about finding the right place for chanting. One is means I was thinking about Bharat Maharaj. So from a place point of view, he became alone, and what he was doing, no one could help him out with his situation when he slowly started deviating away. So in how to balance these two, in being in a place where we are able to chant attentively, but at the same time we don't go in we are not in such zone that
Understand.
we are, no one is cross-checking us.
Yeah. That's why we have different needs. We're going to have different needs at different stages in our spiritual practice. Yeah. So especially in the beginning of our spiritual life, it's probably very advantageous if we are chanting in the association of devotees. Yeah. Because then we can be self-disciplined as well. For instance, if you're chanting in association of devotees, you're going to be less inclined to keep looking at your phone. Simple example, because you know other devotees are there. You know, you're going to be less inclined to be distracted because other Vaishnavas. So that may, according to your need at a specific time in your spiritual practice, that may well be the best situation for you. But in other times, like I gave my example, being in the Holy Dharma for me, it may be that, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions this as well, this comes up at the end as well, but he also mentions that you may, for example, put a cloth over your head and chant loudly, or you may put a bucket over your head, chant loudly, and you may chant on your own very intensely at a specific time. Sometimes we've had the experience where devotees, they just find a need to shout their Maha Mantra at the top of their voice. So sometimes, then we used to send them up on the roof, you know. Anyway, going off the point a bit. The point here is that Putra is according to our needs. It may well change. So if we know, okay, yeah, there's lots of devotees here, it's a little bit disturbing, but if I go away to chant on my own, you know, I'm just going to fall asleep. You know, I'm just going to, you know, start eating Mahabhashadam. I'm just going to get spaced out on my phone. So the best thing for me, better I stay in this busy temple room because my japa's going to be a better quality. So that might be the specific need for us at that point. Yeah. And other times it might be to chant with just one or two devotees or just on your own. Yeah. Does that help, Butcher? So according to specific needs at specific time in your spiritual life, you should be able to recognize that what you need to be absorbed in the chanting. Yeah. And it may be different. And then is that any comments upon that? Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Please, yeah.
I just have a small follow-up. So personally, means rather than being distracted more by these social media platforms, I find the issue of multitasking more problematic, in the sense, let's say Bhagavatam class is going on and someone shares something and I don't know about it fully. I immediately want to open the phone and check out
Yeah.
full details.
What, do you know what? I made the Sankalpa this morning because I was preparing for this presentation. And I made a Sankalpa to myself this morning. So I'm going to say it now. So it can say it to all the Vaishnavas here so I get determination to follow it. I will never send a text to anyone during the time of the morning program. You understand? Because I was going to send it in text, which is supposed to be important, to a friend in Radhadesh, and I was going to send a text to him at 7:15. So what's going to happen? He's got his phone. He's there, 7:15, then bing. then I force him to be inattentive. So I made that determination to me. Okay, I'm never going to send, unless it's a matter of life and death. I'm not going to send anyone a message or ring anyone between the hours of 3:30 and 9 o'clock. Because that, even if devotees at home, they're busy. They're doing their program, they're doing their chanting. So anyway, Putra, so we might want to make such a Sankalpa that just don't take your phone and don't get your phone out during japa. Put it away or put it on silent. These are obvious things, I guess, you know. So don't multitask during, it's not the right time to multitask, it's during japa. Does that help, Butcher? Anything upon that, or anyone else? That's
Yes, bro. It's just that the thought that has come, the fear that we may forget it altogether in later part of the day. Better do it now itself. Whatever text you want to do or search or something.
yeah. So then you have to learn to discipline. That's why this presentation is the idea is to inspire us. It's to inspire me. It's to inspire us to take more seriously this
Hare
our practice of sadhana and the need to be attentive. Yeah. So these things can be put to these. I mean, I remember the day, I was saying this the other day in a class, that I remember the day, I think there's some of us here who can remember the days when there was no mobile phones. You know?
Krishna Prabhu, I was
Hare
wondering,
Krishna. Yes, Shama Prema, please, yeah.
I was just talking to Mother Manjuali once, and I was asking her how, because she lives quite far away in near Glastonbury, so she can't come to the temple as often. So
Yeah.
she says she practices her sadhana, like she's disciplined every morning, like she likes to do her chanting, and she creates an environment, like, because her puja temple room is upstairs and she can't always climb up and down. So she creates a nice ambience in her, wherever she's chanting. She'll light a candle, and then she'll put her phone away, of course, and then she will chant. And sometimes it helps her, she said, to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, and remember that we are servants of the Lord, and that kind of creates a mood and helps in focusing and chanting. And of course, chanting them. For me personally, I after every round I chant, I like to say the pranam prayers to Prabhupada and also to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also focus, and then it helps me to bring back, like when you said the first point about care and attention to the spiritual master and to Krishna.
Utkana, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, these are good points. So creating an ambience. I know Satyananda Maharaj speaks about this point, how important it is to create a good ambience, a good sacred place. So we have to take our spiritual practice seriously, knowing the consequences of being inattentive in our sadhana, especially our japa, or even being attentive in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And again, remembering how effective our spiritual practices can be. So it means we have to make certain decisions, for instance, of not making ourselves available at that important time in the day, Brahma Muhurta. Yeah. So that's up to each one of us to manage our spiritual life in such a way that we can be fully attentive. Yeah. As a hand up from Chanchal Kapoor. Interesting name, Chanchal.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Looking at the screen at this moment and seeing the photograph of Bharat Maharaj, who took almost sannyas, but he got involved with the little animal whose mother was dead.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm just wondering what other options he had. He did look after the little child, the animal child, and then obviously got attached to it. So if he did not get attached to the animal, but kept his spiritual practice as he was doing before, would have been he successful to go back to Godhead?
There happens to be thousands and hundreds of thousands of animals and species of life which are being born and are dying, yeah, by the natural consequences of this material world. So Bharat, here, this is a nice picture. In other words, the universe, the Lord is in control. He's going to take care. So Bharat Maharaj shouldn't have sacrificed his spiritual life. Yeah. In other words, the universe will take care. Everything. So otherwise, okay, there's one deer in a difficult situation. Does that mean he's going to go look through the forest and find every orphan deer? It's interesting because it's a subtle distraction. Because he was a great devotee. Checking the time, he was a great devotee, and he was at a level of bhava, a very advanced stage, and so he felt compassion. Yeah, but because he wasn't attentive to the actual goal, he became distracted. So what should he have done? He should have, he should have left it to the universe, to the Lord, because material nature is going to follow its course. Yeah, but he became overly distracted. So does that help, Mama?
Yes, thank you. So keep your spiritual practice going forever. Though you have got
that's the
other,
most important thing.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
sometimes you see some ridiculous stories, isn't it? Like you hear someone takes in someone in their house, they're really compassionate to all the cats, and they have 200 cats in their house because they're really compassionate about cats which don't have a home. So what can you imagine the state of that home? Imagine that person. Can you imagine that person practicing spiritual life? They've got 300 cats in their house. Imagine the cats passing store everywhere.
Yeah.
So we have to understand what's the most important thing for us.
So keep your spiritual practice going forever.
Yeah.
And think about Krishna. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Get focused.
And keep and be attentive to things that might distract us from our goal, like Maharaj Bharat wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Right. Let's I like to stop on time. We've gone over just 2 minutes, and it's a good point to stop because next week we're going to begin part 2, and it's going to look at attentiveness, although we've covered it to some degree, but from a different perspective. And we're going to look at what inattentive means, okay, in our spiritual practice. And we're going to look towards that from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, okay?
Thank you,
So
Prabhu.
thank you for being attentive. Thank you for joining us. And hopefully this presentation inspires you. And please join us next week. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Krishna,
Hare
thank you.
Thank you,
Krishna, Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, I'm going to press the red button. End meeting for all. Hare Krishna.